I'm also here with the news managing director and friend and author, Mr. Chris Hoke. Chris, thank you so much, my friend, for taking the time out to be on the show. For those of you that don't know, he is actually managing the live television that is happening right now, also managing the video of the show, because we put it on the book and the tubes and the LinkedIn and all of that stuff as well, and telling Brian exactly how to make sure all of this should happen in between. And he is the co-host as well, and now we're going to talk to him. So, man, you are the company Factotum.
Factotum, yeah.
Factotum, yeah.
Of course, we're out of time now. But
I was going to say, if you'd stop talking, we'd get to Pat, can we inhibit on home ad just a little bit?
Oh, boy.
Give us a few minutes.
Okay, so Chris, you wrote a book called The Dorm Room Newsroom. What was it about, and what inspired it?
Oh, that's just a setup question with what inspired it. I'd always wanted to write a book, but you were the one who finally, not that I didn't feel I had it in me, I just wanted to make sure the timing was right.
You said if Joe can do it, anybody can do it.
It wasn't quite that. It was just you really made it seem like it was a worthwhile endeavor, and that the timing was right. I knew I could do it. I mean, I love to write, don't mind that at all. So that was where that came from. Always wanted to do it. But what is the book about? It is about doing news when I was in college. What folks, until this point, until the book, and we started running the commercials, of course, didn't know is that for a long period of time, my news came from my college dorm rooms, where I was sitting in college doing the news between classes and whatnot. And that's what's the start of the story, but it's also about the family here at the radio station. If you want to see the back end of how we've operated and grown, that's really there too.
And so, all of my co-hosts have to bring on an article from the Google, and you decided to bring an article that you wrote, being the smart aleck person that you are, the big head that you are. You wrote your own article.
Oh, stop. You know that you've had co-hosts do that before. I can think of at least two.
Yeah, many, actually, my friend. So what's your article about, buddy?
Okay, 5 news management takeaways from the Dorm Room Newsroom. So,
okay.
And really, you said you would be the judge of it, but I think
I'm always going to be the judge of these articles coming from the Google.
You got his slider ready to turn them off in case. Okay, Skippy's ready to go. So,
but okay.
These should apply elsewhere as well, pretty much for the most part, to any area of management. But for the news manager and for everybody else as well, I would encourage folks to think beyond a traditional framework to do more with less. So when you watch news on TV at night, or you're going to a radio station other than ours, of course, that is providing you with a news product, many are thinking in terms of kind of an old school, or the way it's been done for quite a while, in terms of they're sending a reporter. One reporter gets 1 or 2 stories a day, and that's it. Being a small station, we've been forced to really think outside of that box to say, okay, we've got more like 10 or 20 stories we got to do today. What can we do to make that happen? Now, that's, can be a little bit of an exaggeration, and obviously we're radio news, so it's a little bit simpler. But what I'm encouraging folks here is to really evaluate how they're using their reporters' time to be able to cover more stories. Because when you do watch the local news in Charlotte, there's many places where the local part is lacking. They're filling it with stuff from the AP, things they get out of Washington. It needs more local.
Yeah, and that goes back to the thing we talked about in Wayne's article as well. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Next one.
I think I stumped Joe. He didn't have much to say.
I want to make sure you got enough time.
He didn't understand it.
I want to make sure you got enough time to get through these.
All right. Next one here.
I absolutely agree with you. I mean, you
are
are
a hard time, Joe. That's what this is about. We'd love giving you.
You are the poster child for that one right there. Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean,
next one.
You're dead on with that. I'm going to give you this. Exactly.
That's what I was.
How's that? Okay.
Okay. Next one. The basics are important. This is exceptionally obvious with everybody saying fake news. Some people say it when they just don't agree, but it's out there, right? There's a lot of news that is driven by an opinion. So what I'm encouraging news managers and journalists here to do is get back to the basics of journalism. People have forgotten about the basic tenets of journalism. They think it's all about the feel-goody story and all about the emotions. Yeah, that's what people connect with, and you should tell a good story, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. I mean, I love telling people, it comes up later in the story, I hold no emotional attachments to the story. It is what it is. Whatever it is, we just present the facts. So,
well, and what I find out about this, it's really interesting. Most news people do not set the stage of exactly what happened before they tell me Bob's in jail, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they're assuming I know why Bob's in jail. Let me say Pat's in jail. And so if you set that basic up, honestly, it also defines your being factual and correct when you're starting this, so I can be free to make my own opinion on that. I like that point.
And that's actually the next article I'm writing for my website, and you can go look at my website in this article, chrishokemedia.com.
chrishokemedia.com. Okay.
But the next article I'm working on talks about just that, is how do you take that story that seems like it's the one that's like always coming up and make it more interesting, more relatable, but that's for a later date. Next thing, localism counts, and this goes for businesses as well. You were talking about it with Wayne's article. That local piece is so important. So many stations today, they get lazy and they rely on the filler content. When you see something from, it may be good stuff, but when you see something from the national level, they didn't have to produce that in-house most likely. They got it from somewhere, and that's one less thing they got to do. Stations need to get back to that local content because you can't get that just anywhere. You're not going to go find a website from halfway across the country telling you what's happening in Statesville.
Let me just put it to you in another way, and I know this because I've been talking with the CEO of the guy that bought the Citizen and the Herald. Bottom line is your money is going to be made local, period. That's what's happening in the media.
There you go. Next one, your emotions don't have to ruin your fun or the product. I talked about the fact that when I do the news, I don't hold any emotional attachment to it. Too many and I'm no psychologist, but I think too many journalists let themselves get overly attached to the story and they get overly emotional about it. Yeah, we report on some really bad stuff, but you got to think of it kind of like a doctor or a paramedic. You got to have the empathy, but not get overly connected, because at the end of the day, I want to go home and forget about it pretty much. And by having that lack of personal connection, you will deliver a better product to your viewers, to your listeners, because you'll be able to stay more fact-based.
Okay, let's be clear about this. I'm going to say something. Wayne's face is going to get red. I do agree with you, but anything you do it with passion. Don't lose passion just because you're taking the emotional connection out of the actual story out. Do you want to argue with me about that?
No, I want to give you an exactly.
I'll take it.
Please don't cater to him.
It's just easier. We'll get to talk a little bit more. We only got like 2 minutes left. The last one is have fun. Joe's really good at that. I'm good at that. We deliver the facts and get the story out there, but you saw what happened during the break. If you were watching on TV, you saw the Grinch come up on TV to make fun of Joe. Have fun with it, whatever you're doing. And that goes back to the passion thing. Have fun.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. So if somebody wants your book, how can they get it?
You can go to chrishokemedia.com, get a link there. If you're on Amazon right now on your phone, maybe doing that last-minute Christmas shopping, I don't know if it'll still come for Christmas, but you can order it via Amazon. You can get it. You can download it on your Kindle. You can get it as an audiobook, which you had listened to.
And I must tell you, if there's those of you out there listening, if you've got some kids getting ready to go to college or just started college, it's a great book to give them. Chris gives some wonderful advice, speaking to them on their level. It really is just a fantastic book. Chris, thank you, my friend. Thanks for everything you do for me
Thank you, Joe.
during the year. And I know the radio station is just blessed to have you here, buddy.